filter in into the space. Shout out to Original. I see you up in the spot, Original. Volvo, what's going on? Andre, what's up with you as well, too? So I don't know how many of y'all been. Go ahead, Professor.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, it's been a busy news cycle out here today, man. I mean, busy, busy.
It's always a busy news cycle. Like it's never, even on the weekends when the news not coming in as much as it is, news is happening every day, every second. So it's always busy. And Monday is always seems like the most action packed news. Once the week starts back, everybody gets back to working and stuff. Monday's always an action packed news cycle. But yeah, the news is gonna be pouring in as always as well too, man. So shout out to everybody coming up in the space tonight as well too. DJ, what's up? So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this thing rolling in just a second. I want to talk about Rasheem Carter and just the madness that's going on down there in Mississippi, man. Just Mississippi. I mean, you can't be surprised by anything that takes place in Mississippi, to be honest. You really nothing that comes and takes place out of Mississippi shocks anybody. Once you're a certain age, anybody that's over 12, 13 years of age, anytime you hear any news coming out of Mississippi, you can't really be shocked. At the same time, you still get kind of taken aback by what you hear coming out of Mississippi, even though you technically shouldn't be shocked because it's Mississippi. It's just it's like having South Africa in the United States. It's the same thing. They're no different than damn South Africa. You see the way they're trying to manipulate everything now and have a city that's predominantly black be ran and governed completely by white folks. Nothing ever changes in this city right here. Nothing. It's like they still stuck in some kind of time capsule, time warp or something. Like everybody, and as slow as this country is to progress anyways, to progress, they're even slower. So nothing that ever takes place in the state of Mississippi should shock or surprise anybody, no matter how crazy, no matter what you hear. It's Mississippi. It's a state that really, and I know we may have some of our Mississippi people up in it, it's a state that I really don't have a whole lot of use for, to be honest. And that's nothing against my black people that live in Mississippi. It's a state that I know I wish that more of our people could actually get the hell up out of, to be honest. It's been a little shop of horrors for black people. Mississippi is people can sit up here and say that this is the most segregated place and this is the most racist. Nonsense. No place in America is worse than Mississippi for black people. I don't care if you up north and you talk about the segregation and this and that or what church you go to is the most segregated. No place in the United States of America, people can say, well, Mississippi is outwards and ours is, I don't give a damn if yours is behind closed doors. It can't touch Mississippi. It's a reason that you had that movie Ghost of Mississippi. Nothing in this country could touch the state of Mississippi. Mississippi is that's one place that the United States should have went ahead and actually left the actual union. Let all the black people leave up out of there. For all the rednecks that want to actually succeed from the union, let these rednecks succeed from the union. Make sure the black people get up out the state. These peckerheads want to really succeed. Let them go ahead and succeed on their own. But Mississippi, nothing has really changed in this state right here. Still a redneck state. Still going to be a redneck state to the day that this earth ends. Shout out to Ray. Ray, I see you coming up in the space as well too, man. So this is a place that I don't know. And I see some of our people that got kids that play college football and stuff. And actually, I'm like, it's just a place that I don't even want to drive through, to be honest. And I know there's a bunch. There's not a whole big difference between Mississippi and Alabama, but Mississippi still takes the cake. They might be 1A and 1B, but Mississippi is still numero uno in terms of being the most racist place in America today. So let me go ahead, y'all, real quick. Professor, you want to ask him? Because I know you ain't far from Mississippi.
Oh, man. The only time I even go into Mississippi, bro, is when I take trips over there to Biloxi.
Oh, yeah, the casino, yeah.
Because it kind of reminds you of Las Vegas. That one part of Mississippi is probably your best part of it, because once you get past that, you better get the hell up out of there.
Yeah, I got a cousin that live in Biloxi. He be trying to get me like, hey, bro, come to Mississippi, come to Biloxi. I'm like, because when he first told me he moved that boy, like the questions I was asking him, like, cuz he's like, it's just a place, it's just like any other place. I like asking him questions, bro, like like, how do you live there? I'm just asking him so many different things. And he retired out the Air Force. He's like, hey man, it's just, it's just a place, man. It's just another state or whatever. I was like, I find that hard to believe, but hey, I find that truly, truly hard to believe. But hey, I know I asked him a million questions about living in Mississippi. But yeah, shout out to everybody coming up in the space, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and start getting this thing rolling. Black Pressure, I see you up in here as well too. So shout out to Black Pressure. Ray, like I said, I saw you up in here. Minister Ali, I see you up in the space as well too. So let me go ahead, man. This is from Black Enterprise, and tonight we're gonna be covering one topic. I felt that this one topic was important because it's been an ongoing story for the past couple of months, and there's been no resolution to it. It's just just prayers to this young man's family and the horror that they're hearing. Just let me go ahead and get into it. It's from Black Enterprise, curated on Newstoter.com platform. You guys can find it up in the Jumbotron as well, too, for those. And we don't have many people on YouTube right now, but it's also in the description of YouTube. Like I say, from Black Enterprise, titled Family Demands Justice for Rasheem Carter after authorities find third set of remains. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is speaking out in response to an email a family received confirming a third set of remains in what officials now believe was the murder of Rasheem Carter. It was last October when Carter, 25, went missing in rural Mississippi after twice telling the Taylorsville Police Department about the group of white men in pickup trucks who were chasing him, MSNBC reports. The last image of Carter was caught on a hunting video and shows him partially dressed and running for his life, his mother said. On November 2nd, 2022, 1 month after he went missing, Carter's skeletal remains were found dismembered and scattered in the woods near the Taylorsville Police Department, where he initially sought help. His skull was severed in half, and despite the disturbing state of his corpse and the threats that he shared in the police report prior to his death, local police have claimed that no foul play was involved. In February, a third set of Carter's remains were located, and his family was only informed about the remains late last month via email, according to a statement by Crump's law firm. Now the family, Crump, and protesters are demanding justice and more information from police as they look to collect all of Carter's remains to finally give him a proper burial. From the beginning of this case, the family has been misled. At first, when the first of Rasheem's remains were discovered with his head decapitated from his body, officials told the family that it was animals that killed Rasheem. Then officials admitted that they believed he was murdered. Now it's unacceptable that the family had to find out through an email that more Rasheem's remains were found, and still they haven't been told any other information, been offered a meeting with officials, or received his remains, Crump continued. They continue to be stonewalled at every turn. This family just wants to find out what happened to Rasheem and say their goodbyes. They ask that additional remains be returned to them so they can lay him to rest. Crump has remained vocal in raising awareness about the Mississippi lynching of Carter and demanding justice from local authorities in a case that is still being investigated via WLBT. But the Taylorsville Police Department and Mississippi Bureau of Investigations continue to ignore the cold hard facts and railroad the family at every turn. Every turn. This has been going on since this brother's been missing since October. Since October he's been missing. It was actually when this stuff started really popping off. It was October, and it was really officially he was on November 2nd, 2022, 1 month after he went missing. That's when they started finding his remains dismembered. The boy's body's been all desecrated and constantly. I mean, somebody's in the know. Every so often they find the remains of this kid's body popping up left and right, but still they can't even put him to final rest. They just send. It's almost like somebody's sending a message. They're sending bits and pieces of this kid. Now somebody's got a damn email. Now we already know with all the technical stuff how you can find people's servers and everything else, how you can find people's IEP address. That the person that sent this email, they should already know exactly who this was. How long is it going to take? And shout out to Ben Crump. Say what you want to. Ben Crump is pushing the issue, trying to get this case out there, get the story out there. You got protesters in Mississippi right now, and still to this day, Still to this day, no justice has been found for this kid. They set up here, and the police department set up here and talk about that he was killed by damn animals. They set up here and talk about he was killed by animals. Then they had to come on and admit, like, okay, well, he was murdered. And no suspects. Where are the suspects? Pressure, what's going on tonight, bro?
Hey, what's up, Black fam? Some news. What's up, everybody? So, quick story. And this story is it's heartbreaking because I can actually superimpose myself, in the young man's position. So, quick story. So, you already know where I am, news. I'm in the Gulf Coast area, so we have 2 or 3 hurricanes a year. So, we had a hurricane in 2017 called Hurricane Harvey, right? So I'm stuck. I was stuck for 3 days. I was stuck in my house. The National Guard, they weren't letting anybody get on the highway for 3 days. Because I-10 was flooded and all the little highways that ran parallel, they were all flooded. So they weren't letting you leave the city. So cool, right? So what I would do is during the day, I would leave out and stay on the main road and try to find a little gas station that was open because that's what I was eating. I was eating like gas station food for like 3 days. So you would try to I was trying to find a place that wasn't flooded too bad where I could, go there, get some chips, soda, candy, stuff like that, and eat that during the day. So this is what I was noticing. I would get out and there were nobody. The only people that were on the road was these fucking rednecks with these 10-inch lift kits on these Ford F-150s in South Texas. So you see that a lot out here. And they had Confederate flags, Confederate license plates, Confederate flags painted on the truck, and they could actually go where they wanted. They could drive through the water. They would live like 2 feet off the ground, so they could drive through all the high water. And I was noticing every time I went out, that's what I saw. That's the only type of vehicles you saw. So I'm like, you know what? I didn't feel comfortable. I'm man enough to admit I didn't feel comfortable out there like that. So the first day I rode around, like I said, that's all you saw. The second day, I bullshit you not, news. I put my 308, I put my, whatever you want to call it, since the media has dubbed it assault rifle, I rode around with that shit in my lap for 2 days every time I went out. And like you saying, that guy, the young man you're speaking of that was dismembered and tortured and mutilated, I thought like that. I said, man, if motherfucking rednecks, this is nothing I said, I rode around with my shit in my lap for 2 days, and I don't make any apologies about it, and I'll mute up and listen.
Yeah, and I don't blame you either. What's the actual what's the pulse on this? Because I've heard and it's been at least 2 or 3 of these articles I have it was curated on the site and I've tweeted out and stuff like that. But what I want to get the general like how's everybody feeling nationwide about this? We've heard a little bit about Rasheem Carter and it seemed like it's kind of died down. So hopefully now with this article coming back out and some of the noise that's being made that they'll actually try to get it pumped up. And with Jordan Neely and you see this right here and he happened even before Jordan Neely unfortunately was killed a few days ago. But Rasheem Carter, he's been dead since October at the very least, and the guy goes and he makes complaints and he's telling the police department that his life is in danger. And it's totally taken as a joke. Nobody cares. Nobody tries to do anything or whatever. The police department sit up here. They're trying to sweep it under. They're sitting up here talking about how often does damn wild animals actually eat people nowadays? Okay, I can see if you was in Yellowstone National Park. I can see if you was in some of these national parks where maybe you may have a panther or something like that. But how often do wild dogs and wild hogs actually eat people in 2023? Very, very, very rarely does something like that ever happen. And to say that this happened in Mississippi, the cops, like I said, they went ahead and they just pretty much they claim there was no foul play. No foul play. I mean, he's telling you about the death threats and everything that he was getting and whatnot. Nothing. Nobody took anything serious whatsoever. Professor, I know you're not that far from Mississippi. I know you're in a neighboring state. Have you guys heard much of anything about the story down there in Alabama?
No, dude. What they in the South with these stories like this, and I call them the white supremacy stories. They try to hide those stories. They really don't try to highlight those. The Caucasoid media down here really does their best to cover these stories up. But what they do try to make sure they highlight is whenever they see something that's high profile black on black type crime case, like that situation that just happened in Alabama, in Dadeville, Alabama, with the young black men that allegedly shot up a party. See, they'll highlight that story, and they'll keep this type of story, Rasheem Carter, they'll keep that story hid as best as they can. So this is what you're dealing with down here in the South, y'all. I think if we was in like New York, you would see this story more or less highlighted if we was there. But here in the South, they try to do what they can to hide these stories as much as they can.
Not only was he killed, Professor, but this boy was mutilated. He was tortured. They're talking about his skull was severed. His head was decapitated from his body. What did they do out there to him? I mean, what other parts of this kid's body is all chopped up and missing? What else did they cut up off of him? What was the point of torturing this young man like that? I mean, what did he do to these people? Why did the cops just totally sit up here and totally ignore what he was saying? He sat up there before he was actually even killed and told these people exactly what was going on. And now you're getting, like I said, you're getting these mysterious emails. And like I say, we in the age of tech, there's no way in the world that they can't find the IEP address of the person that's sent this email and be at his door right within an hour. Like, hey, what do you know about this case? What's going on here?
Hey, man, it's just one of these things where they don't want to put this out here. They don't want to investigate it. They want this story to just die down. This is what they do down here, man. But yes, like you said, they tortured him. They chopped him up to pieces. It kind of reminds you of the James Byrd story. I know y'all remember that story. And see, that story got highlighted because it, of course, happened in Texas. See, that's the
difference. 45 minutes north of where I was born, at James Byrd.
Okay, so as you can see, that's a personal one right next to Black Pressure, right down the road from him. And see, Texas being that it's a larger state, larger media, it got highlighted. But remember, y'all, what did we have back then too when that story took place? What was the media outlet that we had? BET. BET was on the ground when that story broke. See, now who do we have out here now for our stories like Rasheem Carter? See, we need BET on the ground right there. But we don't have that. This is what I get so mad at with Brother Robert Johnson when he sold BET. He did his people a disservice, all because he wanted to have more money in his pocket to go buy a basketball team or whatever. And he don't even own the basketball team. See, that's where you screwed up at. We need this media platform right now for all of the black issues that are going on, Black American issues that are going on, y'all. And so right now, we got to find a way to get BET, or we got to get some kind of large platform back. One thing for sure, we got to build a Newstoter thing. We got to keep it going for sure. But we still need to get all of the media platforms, like a BET. We got to see if we can get that back, because we'll have a larger platform that can cover all of the stories that are happening to us right now. Brother Rasheem Carter deserves coverage. He deserves major coverage, and we can retweet it. We got to keep doing that, but you got to have people that can get on the ground to question those leaders over there in Mississippi, those sheriffs, those police officers, detectives, the politicians. This is where Robert Johnson hurt us at, folks. I'm gonna land my plane right there because I want to hear what the rest of the family thinks about this story.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with you on that, Professor, as well too. I want to hear what Ray and Black Pressure and Trouble got to say as well too. But you're right, we do need we need a large media apparatus, and I don't know even if, let's say, Tyler Perry or Byron Allen come back and they actually do purchase BET. BET so far from what it was when Robert Johnson, excuse me, had it. Will it make will it make a real difference? Will it just completely focus on entertainment and reality shows and everything else? Will it make a real difference, or do we need something beyond that? We need to have our own CNN. We need to have something that's just going to do news worthy topics and events and stories, throughout the whole day, and just focus on that. We got enough entertainment. Just have somebody just focus solely on that. Let me go ahead and kick it to Ray. Ray, what's going on tonight, man?
What's going on, everybody? I'll be real brief. So, people like myself that grew up in the South, obviously, I've said, I'm from Valdosta, Georgia, born and raised. This isn't nothing new. I spoke about the Kendrick Johnson case, which was a young man. He was found rolled up in a gym mat, and conveniently, all the security cameras were working except the area where his was. And the sheriff's department, when we questioned them about, well, what's going on? What's going on with Kendrick? They have no idea what's going on even to this day. Obviously, if you know the story, the young brother was found, he was buried rather. All of his internal organs were missing, and because they claimed he was diving in to get a shoe. But the family said, well, if he's diving in to get a shoe, why isn't there blood on the shoe? Why is there blood under the shoe? On top, and the shoe was below him. Why logically there would be blood on top of the shoe? So things like that have been going on for a long time. I also live in the same state where Mary Turner was lynched. If y'all know the Mary Turner story with her husband, he got lynched, and she decided to speak out against it, and then they hung her. While they were hanging her, they found out she was pregnant with a little baby, and they actually cut the baby out of her stomach. The baby fell to the ground, and the people stomped the baby out. So this is the type of stuff that is going on in the South for a long time. And Newstoter, I'm going to challenge something that you said. You said that this was not committed by animal, and I say it was. The only difference is instead of it being a four-legged dog, it's a two-legged dog. I land there.
Yeah, in terms of that, Ray, you're right, spot on. Like, yeah, you definitely it was committed by an animal, but like you say, not the type of animal that they want to put it off on and pass it off on as well too. So I'm in agreement with you on that one, Ray. Let me go ahead and get.
Hold on 1 second, Charlie. Is somebody named Ashley Babbitt trying to come up here? I can't seem to get them to.
What you see up, for real? Because I don't even see that.
Yeah. Oh, you don't?
I don't see that. I think earlier I had they requested and I accepted the request for them to come up, but I just sent them an invite. So if you see that, go ahead and accept it. But I don't even see that.
Yeah, it's sitting right here showing that they look like they requesting to speak, but I can't get them to come up though.
I don't even see it, Professor. You know how that.
Let me say this, Ashley Babbitt. I'm gonna go ahead and deny it. Go down, go out of the space, and then come back in, okay? Because there must be some kind of glitch going on.
Yeah, because I
just come back in, and we see if we can get you back up.
Yeah, I don't even see it. Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic, Pressure.
Hey, News, let Trouble and Wilson go, and I'll go after them.
Okay, Trouble. What's up, Trouble? How you doing tonight? Hey, what's up now?
A whole lot. Well, let me piggyback off of Ray just right quick. That Kendrick Johnson story, that was one that hit my heart. I stayed posting about that on Facebook because that's where I was at during the time of that incident. And remember, the white boy that was involved in that, his father was FBI. And so that's one of the main reasons why that case got stuffed under the rug the way that it did, no pun intended. But we've had a lot of these incidents where law enforcement was literally involved in it. And that's the same thing with his brother, Rasheem Carter. Law enforcement is involved in this, and that's why the brother came up with this, and that's why they were so quick to hand us this story about wild animals getting to him, and then they wasn't doing anything to begin with, because they were literally the ones who were after him, or the ones who were in cahoots with the people. Because I believe he was telling his mom that it was, I guess someone that he was working with. And so when you're in these small towns, and when you're in these southern towns, Alabama, even here in South Carolina, these people, these job owners or whatever that you go and work for, they're closely connected to the law enforcement, and so they have the ability to hide whatever. When I first I reported about this story before they found his body, when it first came up, when his mom first put out the missing thing on him and everything that he was saying. But the next story I reported on afterwards, or posted about rather, was how they said that when he was beheaded, they found his penis in his mouth. But they haven't put that inside of any of the recent stories that they have been reporting. But one of the first earlier stories was that's what was said. So to me, in that instant, there's no wild animal that's going to dismember your body and specifically take your peener and put it in your mouth. That's the sign of, like Ray said, a two-legged animal. That's what two-legged animals do. And so, to Professor's point, we need our own media, and that's where, fortunately and unfortunately, our Black media is going to start becoming more codified and being more on point and highlighting this. And then we as a community is going to have to do more. Wherever these incidents are happening at, whatever state and area, we as a people have to come out and start forcing their hands to keep it in the news. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, none of those news stations have been reporting on this story. And at least if they had been reporting on this story ad nauseum, like they do every other story that happens, that goes on, that they deem worthy, because we are not deemed as worthy enough to talk about. These are the things that keeps getting swept under the rug, And so at this point, it's not only tiresome, but I promised myself I wasn't coming online this week here or looking at the news this week, because I'm feeling like my sister Don said in another space today, I'm starting to feel violent, mentally violent. I'm having these thoughts of playing in the trenches and after dark, because it's we're at war. And for the most part, it seems like a lot of us don't understand that we're at war. And these people are telling us that it's open season on us, and have been telling us that it's open season on us for a long period of time. But we sitting back like, okay, we need another incident to show us that, this is what it is. Because it's sort of like when you see something, you're like, damn, I know I didn't just see what I thought I saw. I know I didn't just hear what I thought I heard. So you got to hear it again. So I'm trying to figure out how long are we going to play this game with each other. We just gotta start putting in the work, because nobody is working for us. We don't have anybody in mainstream media, even the people who's on YouTube are not reporting on it or talking about it. We're not getting people together to harass the powers that be, so to speak. So I just think as a community, we gotta start doing more, because these things are going to continue to happen. I'll land right there.
Thank you, Trouble. You summed it up perfectly, and I feel your anguish on that. And like I say, and I told Professor that before too. Like, this stuff is coming down the news cycle every day, and part of you be like, "Damn, do I even want to?" Yes, on the site, but damn, do I even want to tweet this out? Because damn, like how much more of this can you really put out there? Like, after a while, it does drain our people. But at the same time, I feel like it's got to be put out there. It's got to be put out there. It's got to be talked about there, even if mainstream media is not covering it. And shout out to Black Enterprise. Shout out to some of our curation partners and stuff that's actually putting this stuff out there. And you're right. Like, yeah, the mainstream media, they may put it out there. They may report it because they have no choice, because it's out there. They don't really want to report it, and they sure as hell don't want to talk about it. And I find interesting about Jordan Neely. They don't mind talking about that, but they're looking for an angle and a way to go ahead and actually make the man who just lost his life the actual the actual troublemaking the whole situation. So they're looking for a way that they can go ahead and say, well, you know, it was justified. The nigga deserved to be choked out and killed or whatever. He's had a violent history his whole life, and it was for the best, and it was self-defense and this and that. So whenever you do have a black person that gets killed, namely a black man, is how can we soil up his name or whatever? Now, when a white person gets killed innocently, I don't give a damn if he was the biggest piece of shit on earth. They're going to find a way to humanize him. They're going to find a way. I don't care if he was 3 years old and he was killing birds and pigeons and he grew up to start hacking people or whatever. They're going to find a way to go ahead and try to humanize them. Just like when these people go and they start doing these mass murders and stuff. And you had people talk about this person was a transgender and this person was that. And they had their heart broken as a teenager and all this other nonsense. But when there's a black person, even when, especially when it's on camera or something like that, and everybody can see it, they're going to find a way to go ahead and demonize that person as much as possible. Rasheem Carter here, and here's the thing too, man. We know if you're down south like me, Professor Ray, and stuff like that, you know you can't go nowhere on the side of the road when you see buzzers and stuff just picking things apart. Let something die for a few hours, and the buzzer's gonna be out there on his ass picking it apart. This here, like you said, trouble with cutting people body parts off and this and that. An animal don't sever a person's head like that. Okay, an animal's eating you whole. You dead or whatever, they eating you whole. They don't decapitate your head. They're gonna go ahead and eat your carcass. So to sit up here and play stupid with people like that is just ridiculous. And you're right, Trouble. Somehow we need to go ahead. It's one thing to put the stories out in the media, but we almost have to have it that somehow we got to be able to, like in years past when some of the biggest movements took place in this country, it started on these black campuses. We got to find a way somehow to get our dollars up and start reaching out to some of these younger people on campus and start renting some buses and stuff like that and bringing these kids, and not only them, but the people in the community as well, and bringing them to certain cities and the police departments and staging protests and things of that nature. We definitely got to somehow reconnect with the actual college kids and get them more involved. And that's going to take, us reaching in our pocket and chartering some of these buses, going to these campuses. There's no reason, especially in the South, when we look at Mississippi, when you got Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, think about all the HBCUs right in those 4 states right there. Okay. Think about being able to charter 10, 15 buses, 30, 40 kids up there, stuff like that, galvanizing the actual HBCU campuses. That's something that we're going to have to really, really look into, y'all. We're going to really have to start looking into it because, we can put the stories out there, but we got to have people actually, when we put the story out there, people actually respond and react to it. Say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And at this point in time, like you say, I don't know about BET. What's gonna happen with BET? BET may, BET may you may have Byron Allen, you may have Tyler Perry, get it. But we still, like I said, we're good on the entertainment level. And I know people say, well, we're not, we Hollywood is so anti-black and this or whatever. We can't really worry about that. But we do need an actual media source. And we have enough black-owned newspapers. We have enough black media outlets and stuff like that where they can go through them and actually put these stories out there. So that's what we actually need at this point in time. Like you said, we're gonna need more involvement. We need to get a connection back with the HBCUs. We definitely got to get a connection. Those are the future leaders of the community. Those are the ones that for so long, when you had Dr. King and the civil rights, and when you had the Nation of Islam, when you had the Black Panthers, you had participation on these college campuses from the young people. So we really, really, really need to connect with them as much as possible, y'all. We really do need to connect with them as much as possible. Let me go ahead and kick it to Wilson. Wilson, how you doing tonight, sister?
How are you? How's everything?
Oh, we're doing pretty good.
Good. No, a couple of things. One thing with regards to Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson wanted his executive board to give a percentage of their salary back to the company so that he could outfit it, and make it better than what it was. And he had a special meeting with his executive board, and asked them to do this for about a year. And of all the people on his board, only 2 people agreed to it. That wasn't enough. And after some time, it was, he decided to sell it. And when he sold it, those 2 people that were willing to give a portion of their salary, I think, 30 or 40% of it, some of them became multi-millionaires with the transaction. And so I just wanted to tell you that. And I know that because one of those people was my client. Secondly, one thing that I wanted to say to you, Newstoter, is maybe you should be the one to think about changing the direction of Newstoter into something that's daily, maybe on YouTube, because YouTube is widely used for people for just about everything, and maybe model it after a gentleman that I grew up with on the East Coast and used to enjoy watching his program, and it was called Like It Is by Gil Noble's Like It Is. I don't know if anybody in the room was familiar with that format, but it was a really DJ. You may not, because you're younger than me, but Gil Noble was a black news journalist out of New Jersey, actually from Montclair, New Jersey, and through ABC at the time, he really was the beacon for black news and black art and culture, just everything. I mean, and there's some, and he gained such a great reputation that it ended up people started wanting to get on his show. You didn't have to ask anymore. And if you haven't seen anything of his, I'm sure on YouTube you'll probably see Gil, Gil, and Noble, Noble. But I would say you do it. I think you could be fantastic. And it may not have to be daily. It could just be a weekly wrap up of the things that you've talked about. I don't know, but a lot of good things have started out of the YouTube sphere, and it may be something that you will probably need someone who is a marketing groomer to groom you, to have that kind of presentation. I don't know what you would call them, but in the music industry, they would be artist development. So maybe that would be a journalistic development. But I think you would be fantastic at it. And also, another story that we don't talk about that actually is making some noise in New York City, and this happened, I think, about 5 years ago, maybe. But right in New York City was a gay black guy who had locked himself out mistakenly out of his apartment, and he was afraid because he had left something on the stove cooking, but he was able to get, I think, a super or somebody to come and open up the door for him. The fire department, actually. And so he was in his apartment minding his business, and he was cooking. And these 2 NYPD officers came to his door and entered it illegally. And a scuffle happened, and they beat him with their baton. They beat him, and he bled out. They didn't even attempt to give him any kind of medical assistance. And one of the officers was white, and the other one was black. And the family has been fighting for years to get justice for their son, and nothing. And so there's actually going to be a march regarding this. I think in the next couple of weeks. I got to figure out where it is, because it's Eric Adams, who's the mayor of New York and an ex-cop, and the NYPD. So this is just something that Black lives don't matter to these people, and they don't care. And look, they want to go back to the days of beating us, lynching us, eviscerating us, raping us, with impunity. They don't want to be held accountable for shit when it comes to black people, and it's getting worse and worse. And it is an all-out war on black people. And we do not have any representation in politics. We don't have anyone but ourselves, truthfully. And, I tell you the truth, I would love to see our young black students matriculate to college and become an FBI agent, become a CIA agent. I would love for them to meander into that, because here's the deal. We are seeing something that's unprecedented in this country. And we are seeing a good number of Hispanics identify as white and stand alongside of white supremacy. It's getting greater and greater. There's a lot going on that we don't know about. We only know about the big crime that they do, like the one yesterday or was it the day before yesterday in Allen, Texas, or that mall in Texas. He's a Hispanic guy.
It was two that happened yesterday too, by the way.
That's true. It was
Yeah.
two. The
Brownsville
Brownsville one. But we don't know if that one identifies as well. They said that he spewed some. The people there said that he was spewing some kind of anti-Hispanic hate, but he's Hispanic himself.
He identifies as white. He identifies as white. They got his record and everything. He wrote right thing. So there you go. But he's Hispanic. He's Hispanic, Latino, whatever they call themselves.
Yeah. Thanks, Twin. So there's a whole dynamic with them now that we got to worry about. And the thing is, with the onslaught of all these undocumented, illegal immigrants coming in here, mostly Hispanic, you don't know what's coming across this damn border. You just don't know. The mental problems of these people, these are the poor ones that are coming across this border to us, and we don't know what we've got. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if you guys heard that one of the wave of migrants coming here was reported on Telemundo, and there were some people watching that news that were from Venezuela that recognized an infamous Venezuelan gangster that was most wanted. Here he was coming across the border to the United States. No one checking anything. And so I would love to know that our people can get and infiltrate there and start, studying about crime and profiling and stuff like that, because number one, it's very fascinating. Number two, there's a whole other level of people that are causing crime in this country that is not black and is not white. Another one is the LGBT. They try to keep it very. They too, within that community, are a bunch of white supremacists, and that's why I find it laughable when black people who are in the gay community identify gay first. Okay, so they are another set that the FBI should be profiling, because that's going to be our next wave of problems in this country. So I land with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Wilson, and definitely we're trying to build a platform up as well too, and try to get it to the point that you're saying. So just give us a little bit of time, and hopefully we can go ahead and try to get into.
Time, but we got to do it now.
Right.
That's true, but
Let me say something. Just 2 seconds now to add on what Twin said. Don't forget the FBI has now is after the red pill community. And who is the red pill community? I keep telling y'all, us, yo. Now the red pill is considered a hate group. There you go, yo.
Why is that? I didn't know that. Why?
Because so a lot of y'all understand we'll be having these Kevin Samuels type spaces of rhetoric talk. Y'all understand the manosphere, red pill, blue pill, all that stuff. Red pill is us who created the red pill, blue pill analogy. A black woman, Sophia Stewart, the writer of The Matrix. Hello. So therefore, meaning when we talk red pill stuff, that therefore mean we're considered a cult. You see what I'm saying? But they don't go after these white manospheres, these Proud Boys and all these other people. They ain't going after these people that just look funny or look like on the surface they are, but they're not though. But they're coming. And yeah, we're out of time, Toto. There you go.
All right.
And I will say one other thing that I tell you, when Obama was leaving office, maybe about a few weeks before he was going to leave, he said that he wished he had more time to create a program to get more black people within the FBI and CIA. I said to myself, this Negro had 8 years for that shit and didn't do a damn thing, because they're not reaching out to the HBCUs and black students of the universities and recruiting them. And I just thought, what a big failure that was, because we need them. We need them within those two ranks. We also need them in the DEA. We need them in the DOJ. We just need them. We need them to do forensics, medical forensics, because as we know right now, anytime some of those forensic doctors are in the back pockets of some of these damn prosecutors, that when they're doing an autopsy on black bodies, they're trying to lean towards a report to lean towards the prosecutor and not, the family of the victim. And so, all of that. I mean, Obama was a big fail.
To the 100,000 power, big fail.
All right. Thank you, Wilson. Let me go ahead and get to Black Pressure again. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic. And anybody else that wants to speak as well, too. For those who may have just came into the room, we're talking about Rasheem Carter, the ongoing case that's going on in Mississippi. No justice for his family. His body's been just completely desecrated, and pieces and pieces of the young man pop up here and there, but still no justice for his family. So if anybody that wants to come up and speak, please, by all means, request the microphone and we'll allow you to speak. Go ahead, Pressure.
All right, news. So I got a couple of unpopular opinions. So who better to voice them but me? 1 second, I'm stumbling around my house. So I know that everybody in the room being black, we all have similar experiences. So I know being black, especially in the southern United States, no disrespect to DJ, I'm sure he can relate to, especially in the southern United States, where when a physical confrontation would occur, and then it got back to the elders in the family, and they would always say the same line, well, who threw the first lick? So when we literally come out the womb, right, we're indoctrinated that self-defense is only reactionary, right? If someone attacks me, then I attack them. But if you listen to the stories, especially the one Professor brought up about, like that hits home with me, with James Burke Jr., the one that Ray brought up with the young man Kendrick, this young man that news is talking about today. Look at the sheer brutality. Look at the depths of someone's soul, the blackness of someone's soul that could do that to another human being, right? I know this is, like I say, this is unpopular. This is ugly phrase, especially in black society. Like I was telling news when I rode around with my 308 in my lap for 2 days, I believe in preemptive striking. I know that's ugly in black society. But before I get decapitated, and like Trouble said, and that was excellent what Trouble brought up. Same thing with James Burke Jr. The news never reported that when they drug him behind the truck till he was dismembered. When they found him, they found his penis in his mouth, but that never got reported. You have to be local to know that. So, like I said, going back, I believe that black people should adopt preemptive striking. I'm not waiting for you to throw a punch. If I believe you're going to harm me, I'm going to cut you in half. And then I'll deal with the white folks later. But I am not letting you get that close to me for you to make a science project out of me and nobody talk about it. Like I said, I know preemptive striking is ugly, and I know it's religion and the Western culture has brainwashed us into thinking that preemptive striking is a negative. But I guarantee you this, you won't get close enough to me to dismember me. I guarantee you that. And one other thing, and I'm going to mute up and listen, and I'm talking to whoever don't like it is who I'm talking to. I know news has great spaces. We have a lot of spaces on politics. We have a lot of spaces on religion, and news brought up a beautiful point. These stories, if you want, you can point at one of these stories every day. They happen every day. And we get told, and people in this room have wagged their finger at us. You got to get out and vote. You got to get out. You got to get active in politics, and voting is local, and it's not about the federal or the state. You got to get local. Black people vote in federal elections, state elections, and local elections. And like I say, I'll quote news. This happens every day. I have everybody, and even religion. You gotta pray and you gotta fast and pray without faint, all that other shit. How has that served us up to this point? How has getting involved in politics served us up to this point? When this shit happens to our to our black family members across the nation, and you look up at your black politicians, they can't do a goddamn thing for you, and it happens again and again and again and again. Whatever God you believe in, absentee. Whatever religion you believe in, absentee. Again and again and again and again. When do we stop? When do you stop and say, hey, man, this shit is a fairy tale and it doesn't work? And I'll say this. Black people can learn one thing from those Mexican drug cartels. When those Mexican drug cartels, when you get out in public and you criticize them, or you get out and try to take any kind of action against them sicarios are coming after you. Black people can learn from them, and I'll mute up and listen.
Black pressure, and let me add this right here too. And I'm in agreement with what you're saying, because I know a lot of people say, well, we don't get out and vote, we don't do this, we don't do that, but we do get out and vote. We vote in national elections, we vote in local elections. People saying that we're not voting at the clip that we should be voting at, but I think if people were to be realistic, probably since 1964, if you look at all of the black people that's in that hold political offices in this country, you're probably talking about anywhere from 1964 now to 2023. You're talking about thousands of black people have come into politics and hold positions, elected officials. And how has that benefited black people? And I'm not telling anybody not to vote, but a lot of times people say, well, look at the Hispanics and look at the Asians and this and that. Like the Hispanics, the Asians, and all these other groups did not get where they got at by voting. Let's be honest. Government intervention has helped these groups get along to where they're at. If it was just simply voting, then black people would be the second most powerful group of people in this country, because we have outvoted the Hispanics. We've outvoted the Asians. We've outvoted the Jewish community. We've outvoted all of these communities that black people sit up here and try to shame black people come election time. Well, the black vote turnout was low. Well, it was higher than these other groups, and yet these other groups are higher in the food chain than us. So we can't solely sit here and say that, if we just voted more, then things will be different. Since the 1960s, since 64, I guarantee you to 2023, we've had thousands of black people. I'm talking about mayors and congressmen and everything else under the sun that you can think of that are up in office, and it has not really benefited us to the point simply just saying that voting alone is not going to do it. There's nothing wrong with voting. I wouldn't tell anybody not to vote that wants to. If you don't want to vote, that's on you as well too. That's your personal decision. But we can't sit up here and say, well, just voting blindly has never helped anybody. So if you're going to vote, you better be smart how you vote. But we just can't sit up here and say that, because all these other groups, everybody talk about this group and that group and that group and that group. That group has not outvoted black people, period. We can stop. Hispanics maybe now, but Hispanics haven't traditionally outvoted black people in this country. Neither have Asians. Neither have Indians. Neither have Latinos. Neither have this group or that group or whatever group that you want to throw up there and try to make this lie stick, this narrative. That's nonsense. These groups have not traditionally outvoted black people when black people got the right to vote as a whole. Now, you have black people in this country that could vote even in the 60s in certain places and stuff like that. But when black people got the right to vote as a whole, these groups weren't just coming out outvoting us. So I don't know what people sometimes say on that. Vote for who you want to vote. Vote for who's going to empower your community and help you out or whatever. I have no issue if that's what you want to do. But we got to stop saying the narrative that, hey, voting and voting alone is going to improve the condition of black Americans in this country. Because like I say, you've had thousands of black elected officials in this country since the 60s. And if voting was just like that by itself, if casting the vote just meant that, hey, we were going to rise up and get power and stuff like that, we'd be the second most powerful group of people in the United States of America. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, black power, reparations, everybody.
black pressure. There is nothing wrong with preemptive strike. You know, yeah, I would rather do the preemptive strike because here's the issue. Now, when you look up the word God can only be traced back to the 6th century AD, not BC, but AD. And so then I look at how, what happened in Texas and what's been going on all over the country. So now let me make this clear. I'm not an atheist, but I wasn't born with a God and I don't have one now. So if this God was real, why are these things being allowed to happen? So someone needs to explain that. And so your best bet is to be armed and be ready to shoot back and worry about the consequences later. Because these people, see, we are dealing with a group of people that do not have they're not human. I don't know where they came from, but the lie that has been told about these people that they are black people who got trapped in the ice age and mutated. That is not possible. That is not true. You have people in some of those Tibetan mountains that they still have dark skin and woolly hair. No, that is the lie that they see. Just like everything else that is being revealed to us at this point in time, that is a lie. They need us to continue to believe in their lie, and they know now that there are those of us we have rebuked their lie, because when people say, "Oh, like they had us singing this little song as children." Jesus loved the little children, all the children of the world, the red, yellow, black, and white. They're precious in the side. Okay, but where is Jesus? Why are these children being harmed? See, they get mad when you raise up issues of that nature. That but that's blasphemy. Well, I really don't give a damn. What's blasphemy is, see, remember last week I read whereby the former mayor of St. See, what has happened to us is this. See, we have not been good stewards of our vote. We have allowed black elected officials, we have voted for these black elected officials, and they have used our vote to represent every demographic except for us. And like here in Atlanta, when I came back here, I would see these black folks running for the mayor's office. And they would say stuff like, well, I'm going to do stuff for the seniors and the children. We have more than seniors and children, and we need more than that. But see, like Rasheem read when Donald Trump was going after the DACA people, as I told you, Rasheem Reed said eliminating DACA is a shameful application of moral leadership. No, what they have done to us is a shameful application of moral leadership. Like the current mayor of Atlanta ran on a gay platform under his diversity and inclusion program, cited everything that he was going to do for basically the gay fight community. And Big Swole did the same thing. And see, we are not holding these people accountable. That's what's going on, is that there's not enough of us to go to a lot of these meetings and go after these people and really kick up some dusting and make their face dusty. That's the only thing that's going to work, because see, remember I shared with you all some time ago that back around like 2012, and we have to teach our children, non-black people can't be their friends, because we don't know who these people are and where they came from. There was a young brother, he was from the Decatur area here in Atlanta, and he was in the car with a white boy. I guess they went to the same school as he did, and the car was pulled over. The little brother ended up getting arrested, and they lynched him in jail. And then the little white boy's daddy tried to have the young brother cremated, and he's nowhere near being related to the brother. These people, white people, let me just put it this way, non-black people are evil. And we have some of these black folks that are working with them to come at us. So we have an internal fight as well as an external fight. But the key is that when we see, the one thing that they are terrified of is dying. And when they know that we will shoot back at them and don't give a damn about killing them, they think twice about coming at us. Yes, they have guns. Yes, we have guns too. And if I got this, as long as I take out some of you, you might get me. I'm good. I got some of you, and I know some of them may be in this room listening now. I really don't give a damn. That's your problem. But I tell black folks, do not. I don't care what you do not ever trust white, especially the white folks. And like they said, this Spanish speaking guy, see, they've been trying to get themselves classified as white for a long time. And a lot of them, and y'all saw that one guy who's with the, what was it, the Proud Boys or one of them. Hell, his skin's damn darker than mine. He up there with these folks. All they care about is somebody with a non-black background, even though they may have, due to, interracial sex, that they may have some black genes in them, and it shows up. But no, these people have never been our friends. They don't like us, and we need to start making on the local, state, and national level. We have to start organizing and making sure that that we are covered. Because and when I look at it, because see, if I remember correctly, Byron Allen said that he was buying the Black News Channel, and what he said was that he was going to change it. Instead of being the Black News Channel, it was going to. I think he changed it to the Grill. And so, what they wanted to do now is that anything that's black, they want to remove the black from it. Like no taxation, and a few others may remember. Back in the 70s, we had Tony Brown Black Journal, and it was the Black Journal for a number of years. Then all of a sudden, they kind of did a slide move on us. Then it just became Tony Brown Journal. If they took out the black, they know when we do stuff that's black, they know that's a statement of power, and they want to take the power out, take that black power away from whatever it is we're doing. And you have people like Byron Allen and others, even Tyler Perry, because he was talking about doing something whereby he said he wanted to appeal to a broader audience. Well, goddamn it, you made your money off black folk with them little raggedy ass plays you did. I'm proud to say that I never paid to go see one of them. And I didn't go see one of them, and didn't go and did not support him at the theater. I am very careful how I spend my money, because these people, these high-profile black people, they are not thinking about us. They are doing white folks bidding for them, and until we stop supporting them and begin to make them suffer. So if you think these other folks are going to support you, fine, go ahead, go on out there and let them support you. But I think what we might have to end up doing is that we're going to have to start doing some type of voluntary news service, whereby we have people who are willing to work with us in different states, and they can say that they work for whether it be Newstoter or whatever, and that they can be reporting on the ground in these other states, saying that yes, I'm a member of the press, have press credentials and everything to be able to report. Because like these cell phones we got, some people have the close to or the top of the line cell phone. As we know, these are recording devices. We can record stuff and take a little tripod with you and report from the ground. Call into the system and report from the ground. But this is something that we're going to have to look at doing, because we cannot depend on these dysfunctional people who have been elected into office to represent us, because they're only extending benign neglect to us, and that's it. So, but now, Black Pressure Brother, you are right on point. Don't let anyone make you feel that you're doing something wrong because you're saying that you want to do a preemptive strike. Now, my question is, when is this God going to show up? Why isn't this God doing their job? And I don't mean to disrespect anybody in this space who believe in a God, but like I say, I don't believe in that. I no longer believe in that. I wasn't born with that. I was indoctrinated with a religion and told that this entity or whatever was my God, and I had to do this, that, and whatever. But when I found out that was a lie, I can't do that. And no,
and for the record, the original, just real quick, like I said, for the record, real quick, I do believe in God. I believe in that God, but my issue, and I'm gonna mute up, the application of God, that as far as it relates to black people in America, that shit is slave doctrine. And I'll land my plane.
Yeah, there's this brother, when you said slave doctrine, if you go to YouTube, there's this brother named Jeremiah Kamara. And if you go on YouTube and look for Jeremiah Kamara slave sermon, there's about 40 something of them there. And he showed, Jeremiah used to be all up in the church. But, when you're in it like Jeremiah was, you see you see how false it is. And he came up out of it, and he started doing documentaries on, what they don't do in this church. And how this God just, for whatever reason, because like I say, if you go back to ancient times.
Real quick, original. I don't want to get too far off the topic because we kind of getting there.
But all I'm saying is that, just arm up and just be ready to fight. Because my point is that, again, we are dealing with a people that do not have a soul. And as long as you understand that, you will know how to interact with them. There is no good in white people. I don't care if some of them are in here now. There are no good in white. And see, for this brother who was decapitated, he should have had a gun to where he could shoot back if he didn't kill but one of them. So I'm gonna land with that.
All right. Thank you, original. Appreciate it. Up in the Jumbotron, guys, we have the Newstoter YouTube channel. It's the second on the right-hand side, the second on the right. So while the space is going on, please go ahead over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us try to grow our numbers. We kind of been the past week or two, kind of been just hanging around. We hadn't really moved too much. So go ahead and please, if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, go to YouTube while the space is on and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, for those that can, please think about supporting us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. Once again, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter, the largest Black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. If you do not have a Cash App, we have a Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron as well, too. So, no taxation. How you doing tonight? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Hope everybody's doing well. It's the beginning of the week. Let's start it off right. We can't underestimate or understate the importance of Black media. We need them. They've been necessary from the time we began media in this country for Black folks, and all of them within reason. I'm not talking about the ones that are owned. They look like Black media, but they're not owned by Black folks. I'm not talking about them. We can't underestimate what they do, from sports to journalism to news gathering to breaking news. I mean, this is what we have to have for the benefit of us and our Black society. So I just want to put that out there, because Original talked about Tony Brown's journal, and I forgot it was called Tony Brown's Black Journal, but it was. That's what it came out with. And then in the tone of how he disseminated the news to us actually changed after the word Black was taken out. And I think that was at a time when Jesse Jackson came up with African American and a Black woman. If I could ever find it, I'll put it up there. But she was doing her dissertation, her PhD, on the terms Black and African American and the effect it has on Blacks, the affect it has on whites, and more whites preferred the term African American because the word black, the term black American, scared them. That's why I refuse to move from saying that I'm black. Now, having said that, I want to say two things. One is to black pressure. Uh, what you were talking about, them always coming back, is something that I talk about a lot on Spaces and a lot on Twitter. It's called the 50-year loop. My grandmother talked about it. My mother is 90 years old. She talks about it. So this has been going on for centuries with us. Every time a generation of black folks grow up, they come back at us even harder. And this is part of that 50-year loop that we're experiencing now. And it's election year, and the Democrats are really they're on the move against us, as we can see through their immigration policy. So that says it all. That tells you anybody black who's on that Democratic plantation. I just don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even convince you to get off of it now, because apparently people that are still voting Democratic are they must still have some kind of hope. I guess left over from Obama. I don't know where it came from, but anyway, I have no hope in the Democrats. I actually don't have any hope in government, if you want to know the truth about it, unless I can get some legislation out of it. But that's just me. And something else Original said about how he conducts his life. That's very important for black folks. I remember coming up, I wasn't allowed to have white friends. White people could not come visit me, and I could not go visit white people. You did not have white friends. I remember I told the story about going into Mary Stecky's house. I'll never forget it. I was so young. And my mother liked to have had a fit. Oh, she scrubbed me down. I'm talking about she scrubbed me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet real hard. She wanted me to know, don't you never go in no white folks' house no more. And it was forbidden. And that has to come back, especially for our young black men, because they put themselves in precarious positions. And I'm not just talking about young white girls. I'm talking about young white boys as well. You cannot hang out with them. You simply cannot. You can't put your children in jeopardy like that. What's his name? Kendrick Johnson. You see what happened to him. He was, he hung out with some white kids, and he hasn't gotten justice either. They rolled him up in a mat, and then when his parents got him and had another autopsy performed on him, all of his organs were gone. There was nothing. He was stuffed with newspaper. So let's not kid ourselves about, what these people will do to us, especially if we're around their children, and if our children are around their children. You have to be really, really careful. And he's absolutely right. Even with black folks, and Original, I call it the ones that warm their hands by the fire of the enemy. If they're doing that, I just don't associate my money over there. It's always a hard pass for me. It has to be a way of life for black people. Otherwise, we can't get anything done in this country. It's just like when Black Twitter, when they were coming up with these movies and putting all these different people in these movies and telling our stories, people that weren't black, how everybody on social media, black, rose up and said something. If you notice, they lost money. See, that's the way you have to move, but not by incident. You have to do it as a way of life, because if you start doing it as a way of life, that's how you make changes, because they'll make the changes just to get the money. Those were two very important points that Original and Black Pressure brought up, and I'm gonna leave it there.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Thank you. Thank you. Brother McCool was up here, but Brother Mokel, he was up here, but he must have dropped down. So maybe he maybe got busy for a second or whatever. But Original, I did mean to ask you too, just what was your personal opinion? Because Original, I know you're in Georgia. So what did you think personally about the actual because I don't know if you were in the room when I started reading the actual story, but what do you think about this actual case right here with Rasheem Carter? Is Original there? He may not. Original may have stepped off for a second as well too, so I'll come back to you, original. Brother Moku, you good? Are you able to speak? Because I know you was up here, but then you dropped down. I don't know. Are you available to speak?
Yeah, I'm available. I don't know what was up with that. I thought I was on and it just dropped back down. It's just for no taxation was speaking. Shouts out to everybody in the firm.
That's them iPhones, man. You know what I'm saying?
I get on my iPhone, DJ. But I wanted to know a little bit more about the Rasheem Carter case as well, because couldn't really find a lot of detailed information on that case, and I didn't have a lot of time to look. But I will say this about the police. The police still continuing to deny justice in the Rasheem Carter case. I know that they're still denying justice in the Jordan Neely case, so I'm not surprised by that. We always seem to not get justice, and I think I made this point to say in the space I had last night. Just got to be more precise with our demands when it comes to justice for mistreatment. You know, ultimately, we are being mistreated on a whole, and mistreatment is what we're trying to stop. Mistreatment is one of the twofold meanings of white supremacy. So I think us demanding the lives of these murderers and these people that do crimes against non-white people, specifically black people. I think we need to start demanding their lives and not just them being fired or them being jailed. Eye for an eye, life for a life. You take one of ours, we demand your life. And I land there. But I did want to know more about the Rasheem Carter case.
Okay, I'll touch up on it real quick. And let me just touch up on it real quick. Family demands justice for Rasheem Carter after authorities find third set of remains. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is speaking out in response to an email a family received confirming a third set of remains in what officials now believe was a murder of Rasheem Carter. It was last October when Carter, 25, went missing in rural Mississippi after twice telling the Taylorsville Police Department about the group of white men in the pickup trucks who were chasing him, MSNBC reports. The last image of Carter was caught on a hunting video and shows him partially dressed and running for his life, his mother said. On November 2nd, 2022, 1 month after he went missing, Carter's skeletal remains were found dismembered and scattered in the woods near Taylorsville Police Department, where he initially sought help. His skull was severed in half, and despite the disturbing state of his corpse and the threats he shared in a police report prior to his death, local police have claimed that no foul play was involved. In February, a third set of Carter's remains were located, and his family was only informed about the remains last month via email, according to a statement by the Crump's law firm. Now the family, police, and protesters are demanding justice and more information from the police as they look to collect all of Carter's remains, finally give him a proper burial. From the beginning of the case, the family has been misled at first. When the first of Rasheem's remains were discovered with his head decapitated from his body, officials told the family that it was animals that killed him. Then officials admitted that they believed he was murdered. Now it is unacceptable that the family had to find out through email that more of Rasheem's remains were found and still haven't been told by any other information. They haven't been offered a meeting with officials or received his remains, Crump continued. They continue to be stonewalled at every turn. His family just wants to find out what happened to Rasheem and say that goodbyes. They ask that additional remains be returned to them so they can lay him to rest. Crump has remained vocal in raising awareness about the Mississippi lynching of Carter and demanding justice from local authorities in a case that is still being investigated via WLBT. The Taylorsville Police Department and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations continue to ignore the cold hard facts and railroad the family at every turn. So that's pretty much just a legit. Just went ahead and touched back on that. And I know earlier I made a mistake. I was saying that they received an email, almost made it seem like it was anonymous email, but it had to be authorities that actually was telling saying it's about the actual the remains of his body. So either way, it's jacked up. They haven't done much of anything. They don't plan on doing much of anything. So that's just pretty much where we at this point. I mean, the guy, he told them exactly what was happening. Told them that his life was in threat, and the police department basically told him to F off.
Well, you know what, Tyler? Now, you know what? I go back in my notes and I actually see you did held the space. You held the space on this before, and I have here in my notes. She received a text from her son that I don't think she produced yet. Her son saying that if anything happened to him, that his boss was responsible. And the one thing that I noticed about these cases, Rasheem Carter, since you refreshed my memory, I am familiar with that case. The two things that I'm noticing in this case is that they are going out of their way to protect the suspects. You know what I'm saying? With this boss, he has been, they went out of their way to protect him and his family, talking about these emails and phone calls being threats, like on his life, like a online mob. That's what they said it was, like an online mob. What the fuck does that look like? What the fuck is an online mob? They come in with all these different type of weird ass phrases to incriminate us for reacting to their fucking terroristic ways. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I just all these cases that's been coming down the line where our brothers are murdered. They're protecting the white supremacist murderers, and more evidence is coming out as time goes on that this man was murdered. They decapitated his fucking head and said that animals done that shit. Like, we're stupid. Like, there's really some animals on the North American continent that eat humans. Like, they're not even in that area. You know what I'm saying? It's just real wild and real crazy how we not cops. You know what I'm saying? And I know people in, DM this man or whatever. But a DM ain't nothing like pulling up in a nigga face. You feel what I'm saying? When the Aubrey was killed, the mob of motherfucking black people came down to them white supremacists' house, to their face. You know what I'm saying? Getting some online threats. That's like a motherfucker calling you on the phone and saying, "Oh, you're a bitch," and next time I see you, I'ma hit you with the car. And we taking that, and then they taking that shit and turning it into a goddamn online mob. Like, I know what a real life mob look like, but how does an online mob look? What does that look like? And how does that harm somebody? How can you harm somebody speaking some fucking words?
Hey, I mean, the stuff that these people come up with, man. I don't know. We lost you, brother McCool. You still there?
I think we lost him, man.
Yeah, I think we may have lost them. But the thing that we was talking about this earlier, that the people talking about animals eating people. I mean,
iPhones, I told you, iPhone.
complete nonsense that these people come up. Rob, what's going on tonight? Go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
Hey, Newstoter, peace and reparations to the family. I just wanted to touch on a quick couple of things, like justice. What are these terms to us? Like, what do they really mean to us? We want them to produce justice. We want them to do this. We want them to do what's right? Justice to us is like, you do something bad, you go to jail, you get in trouble for it. Justice to them is like, a white person does something bad, and we try to figure out a way to make it seem like he didn't really do anything bad. So just talking about, Brother Jordan, this white dude straight murked him in broad daylight. But if he doesn't go down as a murderer, he's probably going to spend the rest of his white, lily, evil, caveman life not even considering himself a murderer. You know what I mean? The definitions of these words, they don't mean the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We are living in two different Americas. You know, this brother, they still trying to find the pieces of his body. We on some Sarah Bartman shit. Like, what is going on? His penis was shoved in his mouth. You know what I mean? And the sad part, not even sad, but the scary part is that they really are giving them the green light to say, listen, if you kill them, we'll find a way to get you off. If you don't kill them, yeah, you might get a slap on the wrist. But they got the green light to go on ahead and kill, not disarm, not hold and let go later. They have it in their mind that if they kill us, a dead man can't stand trial. Dead men, dead women cannot stand trial. And so they demonize the victims. They're doing this so much. It's scary. I mean, if you guys are reading news articles all the time, these people are raping babies and getting away with it. These people are murdering people and getting away with it. They're doing mass shootings, okay, and only getting 20 years. And that's from them killing their own people. They're killing, most of the mass shooters, they out there killing their own people. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some kind of corruption. I mean, absolutely there's corruption, but it's taken on a new life. It's grown its own legs now. You know what I mean? I don't think that anybody should, become a vigilante and go out there and do nothing crazy. But like the brother said earlier, I absolutely agree. Listen, you get too close, I'm swinging. If I think something's going on, I'm about to protect myself because we don't have that luxury to be in defensive mode. Now we have to do some offense. We have to do some offense. You see a white dude in your neighborhood walking around with a backpack and, his little sneakers and his army gear, or what is it, hunting gear. He hunting. He in our neighborhoods hunting. That is exactly what the fuck is going on. He's hunting for black people. These white people have made several statements saying that they get mad and sometimes they just walk the street and look for a black person to hurt because one of their white counterparts said a black person did something to them. They don't have any fear. They always try to make it seem like they're scared. Oh, I was scared. No, he was talking too loud. And he did this and it scared me. That doesn't give you the right to harm us. But does it? We're following the same rules that they are, but they don't have no rules. They make the rules as they see fit. They change them as they see fit. They change definitions in the dictionary like twice a year just because they fucking want to. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to really get out of this whole, justice. The justice for them ain't the same type of justice for us. The things that we are going through, they really don't give a shit about. Let's just keep it real. They don't give a shit. As long as it don't hit their doorstep. And that's why so many black men and black women are getting taken out when they go into their neighborhoods, because most of these white people have people in the DA. They got people in the police department. They have people who are going to protect them. Aubrey, just running down the street. He looked at a house. Damn, I've done that so many times. He winds up getting killed for it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we just really have to, stop trying to, I don't know. It's like we're trying to play their game. Like we're playing checkers and they're playing chess. Or we're playing chess and they're playing checkers. But we're not playing the same fucking game. The game is not the same. It's very one-sided. And now it's coming to the point where it's getting very scary because they're not just killing men, they're killing women, they're killing children, they're killing black dogs for all I know. Shit, I don't know. Whenever they see something black, I feel like they just want to kill it. And so we do have to wake up to that. Okay, these definitions and their wording for things don't matter because they change the rules that they see fit. And I'll end my plane. Thank you for letting me speak.
All right. Thank you, Rera. Real quick, guys, I want to say the goal tonight is to for us to we talk about the black media. The goal is to raise $5 in contributions on Cash App. That is the goal. $5 on Cash App. For those that can donate, we're asking anybody in the space that can donate $1. We're trying to just raise $5 tonight on Cash App. So it's $Newstoter, $Newstoter, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today. So we're looking to see if we can raise $5 from our people in this space while it goes on for a couple hours. So anybody that has $1 that they can contribute or donate on Cash App, once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. For those that don't have Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the Jumbotron as well. Let me go ahead and kick it to Miss Rella. Rella, what's going on tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, guys. How are you all?
Hey, what's up?
So, I actually was just kind of going over the information for the autopsy. And so it looks like they did, for Rasheem Carter, it looks like they did perform damn it, I had it all in my head. That's what happens when you're trying to read and get ready to talk. They did perform a particular autopsy, which was a forensic autopsy, but it's called something else. Shit, forgot that fast. But anyhow, I think he needs to have a fossil autopsy done, and fossil autopsies actually were done on Lucy. The oldest, supposed to be one of the oldest bones, and they were able to determine how she actually died. They were able to determine that she fell from a tree. So the particular autopsy, I believe, that they performed on him only would focus on, like, if there was cartilage still left on the bone, stuff like that. But because there was stuff so, deteriorating on his bones, and they couldn't find all of his bones, and they're still looking and searching for them, they can't determine a whole lot of things. But the crazy part is, if they were to probably just do a fossil autopsy on, or even recover more bones, they can actually put something together to show how he died. That's why it's so important that they do recover more bones from his body. Them white folks took his bones. They probably, if they did feed him to pigs or whatever animals that were out there, that they probably invited to maul him the rest of the way. And if you ask me, I really believe that they actually separated his body parts in different areas. I think they put his body parts in different areas so you wouldn't find them. So that's another discussion. But this is one of the oldest, almost to the newest tricks in a book of devils, especially people who work in law enforcement. You see, they know how to try to dispose of bodies, get rid of bodies. They probably didn't have enough time. And I think they had that video, too, of him in the woods with his shirt off. So that's another, avenue for Crump to actually go after once I think they can get more information. And I was trying to understand what Moo was saying. He was saying that are they trying to say that people online are attacking them? Was that what you were saying, Moo?
You there, Mugu?
Yeah, we did a report. I'm sorry, I was in the Matrix, but yeah, they did a report to the family, and they were saying that the family is in hiding because of the online mob that has been attacking them online. Words are very important, and just like Sis said, just like Brother said, these words are very important, but it's really key points that we need to look at. This happened, I think this happened in November or December of last year.
October. So
October. A body doesn't deteriorate that fast. But go ahead, brother. Finish your point.
Actually, body deteriorates within 3 weeks. So I want to say that I want to say that it seems like that the same people who tried to take the word woke and regurgitate it as some sort of now threat to society is trying that same Jedi mind trick, like, oh my gosh, we're the injured party, and we're the ones being targeted, to try to keep the limelight off of them. But the more and more they do it, And I think the more and more we keep the pressure on the feds, they'll start to actually poke holes in that, because you cannot tell me that that's not a green light of people who are guilty. Of course, people who are guilty, they're gonna want you to stop talking about it. They're gonna want you to get people to not make it seem like you ignore the thing if you stop talking about it. But no, you keep talking about it, because the pressure and the guilt, and the more people keep his name alive, they have to keep uncovering what happened to this young man. I do think that, there is a such thing as a domestic terrorist harassment issue with particular groups of people. And for me, the experience that I've had and seen is that it does come from people who do commit domestic or cyber terrorism. I think that is a real thing. That is not what's happening when you're talking about vocalizing issues of domestic terrorism from the lens of someone being murdered and their head and body parts severed and separated in different areas. Because if that was the case, they would have been able to find the animals who ran off with the body parts in different areas. They would have found a trail of matter. And that goes back to us, again, not being in positions of like forensic science, or being a part of like, the coroner, and maybe not even in that area, because you don't have a probably predominantly Black, society in that area. So you're not going to have people who really are going to solve that case. So you got to put the pressure on. He was in a town that probably has covered up multiple murders. That's the same thing like down in, Texas, where at that military base, they kept finding, uncovering bodies, down in Texas. So I really hope that they solve this case. And I kind of like have my Ida B. Wells hat on, where she took it upon herself and was like, yeah, we need to start doing it our own and investigating in our own, becoming our own investigative journalists safely, and trying to uncover cases and clues for these cases and reporting it to the feds, or reporting it to people who are going to take it, where it needs to go. Because right now we have so many missing people. I mean, so many cases where folks are going missing and never to be found ever again, or their killers being able to just die of old age while, families grieve. So, that's just another, I think, a discussion where we need to actually step our game up in getting involved and making sure we protect our communities in that way. The police continue to deny justice. Yeah, they're going to do that. They're definitely going to do that. And, this is why I said before, some of y'all are going to have to become federal agents, police officers, with the intention of keeping the mission in mind that you're in there to protect us. And you might not like it. That might not be everybody's stilo, but somebody going to have to do it. And I land there.
Okay, real quick, let me give a shout out to Jimmy, Black Pressure, Brother Muku, Gene, and Valerie, and DJ for your contributions on Cash App. Brother Muku, I see you got your hands back up as well too. So go ahead and unmute your mic. And anybody else that wants to speak, please feel free to come on up here, guys, and get it in. Probably won't keep the space open too much longer. And tomorrow night, guys, we may either have a late space, or I may have to postpone tomorrow night's space because my father's going to be in town. It'll be only the third time he's been in town since my mother passed. So I may have to spend some time with my old man. So we'll see how things play out tomorrow night, guys. If I'm not able to hold a space to tomorrow night at 8:00, and I can't hold one later, then we will hold one on Wednesday night. But like I say, my pops, he'll be back in town. So it's been a minute. Last time I saw him was at the actual burial of my mother's remains in the National Cemetery. So we will definitely see how I play everything by ear tomorrow, guys. So Brother McCoo, go ahead and unmute your mic.
And just to say, on the continuing to deny justice part, we're continually denied justice because collectively we don't have the same meaning for justice. See, if you look in this incomplete as dictionary that they provide us with, they don't even have a meaning for justice. And justice has a two-part meaning. It's two guarantees. Guaranteeing that no one is mistreated at any time and at anywhere on this planet at any time. And the second part of that is guaranteeing that whoever needs help gets the most constructive help. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be laser beam on what most constructive mean. Most constructive mean is if Newstoter need $5 donation, he need it this time, he get the most constructive help. That means he will never need a donation again. That's the most constructive help. You know what I'm saying? So when we start blurting these words out, like justice, you know what I'm saying? We should also blurt out the complete meaning of justice. What we mean when we say justice. That's why I say compensatory justice, and I say what that means. You know what I'm saying? That's why I trust the information of Francis Cress Wells, and I trust the information of Neely Fuller Jr. because they are scientifically precise with words. Words get shit done, and words stop shit from happening to you. That means when you have 5 or 6 meanings for the word stop, stop don't mean stop no more. Stop me when you say stop whipping my ass, they don't stop whipping your ass because stop don't mean stop no more. Bad don't mean bad no more. When you got a badass bitch, when you got a this a badass car, yo, that shit bad. You know what I'm saying? Bad don't mean bad no more. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be precise with our words and our meanings. That means when we see an incomplete meaning, stop using it. Stop trying to make something that's incomplete. Stop rolling with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Make a compensatory meaning. A compensatory meaning means make that meaning complete and precise. You know what I'm saying? Justice is something precise and something that we have never seen. You know what I'm saying? Even in the histories that we read. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never seen no civilized nation, no civil nation, no nation under justice. Because this ain't even justice. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was justice, we wouldn't even be having this conversation now about our brother Rasheem Carter, whose body was dismembered. You know what I'm saying? And when I was talking about when I was speaking upon them covering for the white supremacists, man, look, this brother's mother said, look, I got a text from my son saying if I'm murdered, if something happened to me, my boss is responsible. Right then and there, fuck a forensic test. Fuck us up. Yo, that's evidence right there. They should have been indicted right off of that alone. You know what I'm saying? Like this is crazy how when the white supremacists start covering for the white supremacist murderers, how the victims of white supremacy start making excuses. Instead of listening to key facts, man, look, check this out. If they really wanted to solve this murder could have been solved. This murder could be solved in 5 minutes. Real talk. It could be solved in 5 minutes. But the reason it's not is because white supremacy breeds confusion. First of all, with the language that you use it. When we're talking about demanding justice, there shouldn't even be no question about what justice is. We all should have a codified response and what justice is, what compensatory justice is, what it means, how it works. Because guess what? We damn sure can't even get precise on what the meaning of racism, white supremacy is. You got some people calling this shit systematic white supremacy. You got other people calling this shit, you got racial discrimination. No, white supremacy is white supremacy. Like, what the fuck? Are we playing word salad here? Or buckets and buckets of words? Like, which game are we playing? We got to start being precise with our words and forcing our enemy to be precise with the meaning. And how you do that is you keep saying that shit over and over again. One thing Hitler said, I think it was Hitler. One thing Hitler said is if you repeat the lie over and over again, the lie becomes the truth. Well, what the fuck you think happens if you keep repeating the truth over and over again? It damn sure don't become a lie. So I think as long as we start being precise with our demands for their fucking life, and I'm not saying like I'm saying in this space, I'm talking about compensatory justice. Lock them motherfuckers in a cell, no more human communication, no more human contact. Lock them in a cell with the motherfucking weapon that they took their life with until they take their own. That is precise. That ain't no beating around the bush. That ain't no confusion, no shit. That's being precise as a motherfucker. Take your own motherfucking life. You took my brother's life, take yours. Don't dirty me with the fucking job. Take your own fucking life. That's a demand. And if we all get codified saying that demand, guess what? I ain't got to be holding hands with no taxation or umbrella or Newstoter to get that demand across. All of us start saying that shit and mean it. Say it with your fucking chest. Gorilla walk on this shit. I want your life. I don't want no money. I don't want none of it. I want your life. Fuck a lawsuit. I want your life. Period. And I'm going to land there. I love y'all. Thank you for letting me speak.
No problem. No problem. Appreciate it. Mr. Engaging, I know you was up here earlier, but I saw you drop down, so I don't know if you had something that you had to do. I definitely was going to let you go ahead and get it in and say something as well, too. Let me give a shout out to Minister Ali. Minister Ali, thank you for your contribution on Cash App as well, too. Let's see if we got anybody else that wants to come up and speak. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. And speak of the devil, here comes Mr. Engaging now. So this ought to be worth the listen to right here. Mr. Engaging, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, family? I hear there's a Negro Black party going on. What's the invite? What's the occasion? Because I'm hearing a lot of realism going on here. So can you please enlighten me? Because I was working on something in my neighborhood, and I had to hop off the line. But I definitely want to get on track with my people and know what's going on.
Oh, I don't know if you heard about the actual the story about Rasheem Carter that took place in Mississippi. The brother's body's been torn to shreds, and he warned the police that he was being threatened. His life was being threatened. He was being chased and everything else, and he ends up missing. And they just pretty much decimated the brother's body, cracked his skull, pretty much decapitated his head. And his family can't get any justice. The police try to say that they tried to put the murder of it up by animals, saying the animals ripped him apart and this and that. Then they finally admitted, okay, he was murdered. And still to this day, his family hasn't received any justice. He went missing in October. Part of his body's been discovered. Like they bits and pieces of his body's been discovered. So, pretty much somebody tortured this brother, killed him, tortured him, cut him up to bits and pieces, and periodically his family gets a little piece of him here and there. To make a long story short.
Oh, okay. Is this predominantly a black area, right?
I don't.
Even and the other question I want to follow up: is there any black officers on the force, or the reason why I'm following up with these other questions? This is regarding with the black police officers in our community and how they're not installing the justice that we need in our community. If they see stuff like this is going on, it's their responsibility as students of our community to protect our community. It is even double fold because they're Black Americans, they should be on the front line of calling them people out or even arresting them. You dig what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, let me say this right here. I'm assuming that it's got to be this city in Mississippi called Taylorsville, because that's Taylorsville Police Department. I don't know the actual racial makeup of the city. I don't know the actual, I also don't know the number of black people that's on the police department as well, too, Mr. Engaging.
Because it leads to that issue up in Tennessee with them other cops too. Like I'm starting to look at them brother cops, like they need to be either we need to be holding them like as much as accountable as these white supremacist cops, because y'all Negroes is on the damn force. Y'all know where these white supremacists are. Y'all know what your bodies are at. So why the hell they not out there? They should be the first one to be on that deputy Snitchy Magoo. If they talking about law enforcement, why are they law enforcement? They asses, respectfully. You get where I'm going. I know they got that whole
on law. There's plenty of on laws out here, Mr. Engage. Trust me.
Wait, repeat that again. I didn't catch that.
Sister on law, the book allegedly. There's plenty of on laws out here, yo.
Okay, yeah, but they're not on the. Well, I'm talking about the Negroes that's currently on the force. Like these Negroes, no.
It would be the same thing. Law enforcement, you on the force. You working at the CO in the jail. You on a foot patrol. It's all the same. You know what I mean? Don't connect it.
I guess
currently right now there's 3 black women that are suing the state of New Jersey, bro, for racial discrimination on the job, and they all worked in law enforcement. As high as the captain of Trenton, New Jersey, down to a correctional officer. Go ahead, though.
I'm going to say, Mr. Engaging, I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out the actual racial makeup of the city, as well as how many black people they actually have on the police department as well, too.
Yeah, because I'm just tired of these black cops getting on these jobs, right? Like if you ain't gonna pick up, don't pick up the effing badge if you ain't gonna really do shit. Like that's the point of you. I'm just tired of them. Playing don't if you're not a hero, then don't be a hero. Don't step in that lane. But the thing is, don't perpetrate. Don't have people don't like a half step or a faker. You know what I mean? And it double impact us as a Negro Black American person. You know what I mean? It double impact us because these are the resources that we pay tax dollars to. Like this is why I'm kind of pissed. Like we pay tax dollars to this shit, man, and we're not getting these. They're not getting the white supremacists arrested up off the street. They allow these criminals to walk the street like everything's cool. Like more and more, I feel like we should just be creating our own organizations and enforcing our justice our own goddamn selves. Like people might not like that. But I would like to know that the criminals are put in jail by my own damn hands and my people's hands. Fuck that. That's what the type of time I want. I want to know exactly that this dude is behind bars by my people's hands. I know that I put you there because you were unjust. You did things that were unjust to our community. We put you there. I think that's what since they want to build jails, we should be putting jails to put their asses in. But that's a whole other conversation I don't want to get involved with. But yeah, I'm kind of teed off, Brother Newstoter.
Oh, and rightful so. I mean, this boy here was hunted down, executed, and they tortured him. And he went ahead and he went to this little rinky-dink police department. Now we are talking about, they talk about rural Mississippi, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was black people on the in the police department. It might have been one or two here, so it might have barely been sprinkled on there. But we also see the way that Mississippi and Jackson, Mississippi is doing in a city that's predominantly black, how they're going ahead and they're making it where white folks are controlling everything in terms of law, and they're going to be ruling over black people as well too. So you got to remember the state we're talking about, Mississippi. So I don't know if there was any blacks on the police department, but I'll say this right here, Mr. Engage, in my personal opinion, it wouldn't matter. In Mississippi, they're showing you that in the blackest city, one of the blackest cities in the country, that they can go ahead and nullify being the majority and still have the minority rule, South African style. You got it.
Yeah, more and more, I think we need to be off these Twitters. This might be controversial, family, but more and more, I think we need to go on these black media platforms. I'm guilty myself, but more and more, I'm going to be more entrenched over there more. Because the things how I would want to solve this, I don't want to say it on these apps anymore, or on these white apps, because I don't want to give no hints to how I want to hit them, because they do need to get hit. I mean, hit hard, because they out here rocking us to sleep, man, and I just can't. I'm competitive by nature, so I hate losing to a loser. I just hate that shit, yo. And I'm like, yo, this guy's not even, these people not even half as great. So like I really feel some type of way. Like I really feel that they just hurting our people, and I just like it kind of teased me off. Like cause like I really look at it like that could be me, man. That could be my little nephew, man. That could be my little dun running around with my peoples, and I really feel. And it's not the excuse that it's not in Mississippi. It can happen to any of us anywhere because you have it in Mississippi and you have it up in New York. I'm only like 3 hours away, family, from New York. 3 hours away, flat. So you don't think that that's not resonating with the people that's in that tri-state? Like I'm just keeping it a beat.
Oh yeah, and Miss T said she put up in the and when the comments she said that the city has the population is 1,200 people there. So like I say, this place is absolutely tiny right here, man. This is absolutely tiny. No taxation. Go ahead and unmute your mic, sister.
I was just going to say that, these small towns and rural areas, and it doesn't matter if it's deep south or up here in New York, you have to move different. And that's really what it is. Even if, and because I went down this road when they first announced the news of this young man being dismembered, um, even if in a small town like that his people got him out of the town, which is what they used to do back in the day, is they would get you out of town. They would get one of his family members. It's almost as if when I think about what Black Majority State is talking about when he says we need to inundate a place. Those are the places that we really do need to inundate. Those are really the places, and it's hard to do, and it would take time. And the thing with Black folks is that we don't have time, and it's hard to act, plan, and react at the same time, and pivot and do everything at the same time. We're in dire straits in this country, and we live in very perilous times. Black folks do. These are very perilous times for us, and we have to do like we used to do back in the day: is don't go out by yourself. You simply cannot go out by yourself. You can't go out without a weapon, and you can't go out by yourself. You need to group up. And in those towns down there, and even up here, it's very hard to do to go about your daily life with a group. But those are things that almost have to be done because, like I was talking about, the 50-year loop, you have to go back. If they're going to take you back 50 years, then what did we do to defeat them 50 years ago? You see, and so those are the tactics that we can rely on. Maybe do them differently, maybe twist it to make it more modern, but the methods still have to stay the same, and the fight is still the same. It's still the same fight. It's not a different fight. It's just the tactics that they use are different. And so we have to keep up with it because otherwise, what's the alternative? They're hunting us down in the streets now. They're hunting us down in the streets and they're killing us in our homes and in our beds while we sleep. And we got to get that. Our kids are not safe. We're not safe. They're not safe. And that was part of the reason I wanted to do the rally because we're not safe in this country anymore. But like I said, we don't do the numbers. Our problem is we will not do anything in mass. If you don't do it in mass and scare these white folks and say we're united against this, they are not going to listen to you. And I can tell you that for a fact, and I'm going to leave it there.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Go ahead, Mr. Engaging.
Yo, thank you, family. Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I'm with Sister Taxation on like saying that we should be inundating those areas, but I really think that it shouldn't be just any type of Negroes coming down to that area. I think we need to send our tough Negroes down there. Our tough Black brothers and sisters that's about that life. You know what I mean? We need a certain type of element that's there to address that. You know what I mean? A certain behavior and a mindset. This ain't for the weak. And that's where I'm getting at. And we need to have, like, it's nothing wrong with the brothers and sisters in Mississippi. If they tired, then yeah, we might want to trade it out, you know, tag your brother on the ropes, man. Because there's some people that want to get the makings in on some of them white supremacists, you know. There's a couple of brothers and sisters that's out there that want to get them hits in, you know. And I think we need to get those brothers and sisters that down there that want to get those hits in, and also defend them and protect them during those court cases. You did where I'm coming at.
Real talk, Mr. Engaging, real talk. Okay, I guess anybody else wants to speak tonight? Anybody else wants to add anything to the conversation?
Yeah, all out, man. She acting like she bashful and all this other crap. You know what I'm saying? Except boy and women. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But I'll say something real quick. So, make a long story short, we need to go find out what happened to this brother for real, because this could happen to any of us. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? This is why, Brother Black Majority, I don't know if you are working Black Majority, I was trying to get you to come up here too. And, you know, everything that we just spoke about, this is why we need to have our black state and, you know, move from wherever we're living at back to the South, obviously, or Delaware at best. You know what I mean? Other thing is, too, you know, I know we speak about the media company and all that. A lot of y'all just don't want to do your homework, and that's just really what it is, and it's really frustrating. So I'm going to just be moving my mic on a lot of this shit that I'll be saying about what it is we need to do. Get the printer, promote Newstoter, be out in the street stomping. You know what I'm saying? It's real simple shit, but you can't, nobody want to do the work. And I understand that it's because that you choose not to. It's just that we're working bees and we just don't got the time to do it, even if it's only for 5 minutes. There's other shit going on in our lives. So we're going to have to start pulling some money together to actually hire people. Hey, look, this is all you do all day. Talk reparations, black agenda, black state America, shit going on with the white media, the white supremacists, politics, whatever it is we talk about, even down to the entertainment shit. Because, knackers need a break from the civic education, you know what I mean? So we need to free our minds from that. That's why we be up in the liquor store and doing other things. But at the end of the day, this is going to continue to happen. It's going to keep happening. And shout out again to Brother Black Majority, not just for promoting the black state, Brother Black Homeland, you know what I'm saying? And, building up a social media platform at soxcial.com, while we over here holding the space, talking about shit we need to do. We should be somewhere else talking about this stuff. But until y'all come up, like Sister Tax said, we don't do things in mass. So this is why I talk the 144 analogy. Only 144,000 gonna make it. I can't worry about anybody else. I'm only worried about the people that are in this room. Because moving forward, I can't expect anyone else that's outside of this room to do anything we're talking about in here. So if y'all don't do your homework, just why Brother McCool had a space yesterday. You know what I mean? Just not record it. Get your notepads out. Take notes. And go back and research it later. Then when we come back days later, month later, or whatever happens in the future, you got the rhetoric, you got the information, and I understand we ain't going to be able to study everything because my thing is technical. I like history, but I can't remember everything that happens. And just like, we'll be up here every day, me and Newstoter be saying this every night. Damn, what the hell was we just talking about 4 days ago? I don't even know because some other shit just happened. You know what I mean? Can't even keep track of this stuff no more. And then if you expect our people that are down in the street to get wind of this stuff, how they getting wind of it when they don't even understand what's going on locally around them? So until we start making some moves on trying to find a way to take this information down and push it down into the street, I'll be outside every day giving away reparation DVDs. I just gave away like 4 sets to the sisters over at the FedEx. Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? Made my package go through. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them sisters who ran back in there. Y'all got some reparation DVDs for y'all. Why am I supposed to play? Y'all ass got a PS5, don't you? Look, they like looking at me crazy. Yeah, see, go ahead and take that and get back to. That's me right there, sec 1. You know what I mean? But come up here. So Mr. Engagement was saying that, why these police that are black ain't pretty much snitching on their counterparts and, not doing the work. Well, hey, there's 3 black women in the state of New Jersey from ranking all as far as up to a captain down to working in the jail cells. They got the same situation going on, snitched on the counterparts, and now they're being stalked like a Rasheem car. So what are we going to do to protect them? Go ahead, sis. And let us know what's going on with your case, too. What's good?
Is she in? Up here?
Yeah, I'm here.
They call it to a hand up. I don't know. That's all I'm doing.
That wasn't me. That was the system. Peace, Black Power, and reparations. I haven't been here long. I don't really like talking. I like talking, but from when I don't really know the topic and hand, but I do want to say that when he said the black people don't snitch, I'm going to say that's not true. In addition to me and two other black females filing lawsuits against the New Jersey judiciary, you have number 4, you have the black police chief in Trenton filing a lawsuit. And you have my friend number 5, he was a sheriff. It was 2 black sheriff officers. They filed a lawsuit because they were called the N-word. Then you have another one, 5, 6, 7. And you have another one who filed a complaint with the attorney general that black and brown people were being written up. Black people are, again, everybody got to do their part. Like I said, we need more Nat Turners and less MLKs. But you have a variety of people doing their part. Some people part is filing lawsuits. That's my part. Some people part is, Dallas, like handle their business. Everybody got to do their part in the situation, but we are doing it. It's just no one has our back. Our lives on the line. They come after your livelihood. I filed my lawsuit in 2019. It's 2023. They not even answering the questions that I'm asking them, and they know they don't want to answer them because they liable. It's a lot of people out here doing it. It's the system, interracial. The system is stacked up against us so much. When people say people are not doing these things, I hate when they say that because people are doing things. It's just that we have a whole system that we have to combat that is in our way. What I suggest, what I really think needs to be done is, like, this is one reason why I feel like I was born in the wrong year. I should have been born in the 50s because I'm a natural revolutionary. The Black Panthers back in the day, they learned the laws and used their laws in their favor. When it was like, okay, they had guns. They got the guns and was carrying the rifles and was policing the police. And that what needs to be done now. Like, we have a solution to the problem. And it's not that people are not doing things. Black people don't own no media. So the things that are happening or the protests, the revolution will not be televised. We don't own any of that, and they don't want to see it marketed or us being told what's happening, because then we're going to start getting an idea that we can fight back. They're programming us into not having it. That's why they say the white media don't want Negroes to be out here protesting and fighting back and talking about the lawsuits that are really meaningful, because then they know that that's giving other people ideas. So it's not that people are fighting back. It's not that you have black people in law enforcement. My mother was a correctional officer. She filed a lawsuit against the Department of Corrections because of her lawsuit. I think it was like $7 million altogether, like $75 million. It was something. They got a dissent decree with the federal government because of the work that my mother did in filing her lawsuit against the Department of Corrections in the 90s. People are out here fighting and doing their part. It's just that you don't hear about that because they don't want to let you know that it's stuff going on. Well, we have to agree with what the brother said, get off these acts, because they listening. They stalking, they listening. In my case, they asked for a copy of my book. And I'm glad they want a copy and let me know that they on my mind. But they should have asked for the documentary. They should have asked for the 2 documentaries in the second book. But, they ain't get up to that yet. But they are out here listening. They are paying attention to everything we say and everything we do. And one reason why sometimes I don't like coming on the app, because, again, I already know once you know who the devil is, you act accordingly. And we know what these people are. They've been doing what they've been doing since the beginning of time. They haven't changed with anything. They have done not one thing different since the beginning of time. We have to act accordingly. If we could do the Underground Railroad, and we can successfully do the Underground Railroad, and these dummies didn't even know about it, there's plenty of things that we can do. But I just feel like when we do it in front of them, again, they had takes on MLK and Malcolm X to the point where they had to go on their conversation. We're doing stuff where they don't even have to do that no more. This generation, but back in the day was no snitching. This generation commit crimes and videotape themselves and then tell them what they're doing. So I feel like we need to go back to the Underground Railroad and understand that people are out there fighting. They just need your support and your help, because it's a lot when you fight against a branch of government and they have your life in their hands and they do sneaky stuff. Like, I be letting everybody know I did not kill myself. If anything happened to me,
because I know what the devil is capable of. I don't know if you guys seen the movie. It's a 2-hour movie. I'm going to implore you to see it. If you didn't see it, to rewatch it. I just rewatched it the other day and cried. You got to watch the movie Hurricane. Denzel Washington played Ruben Hurricane Carter. He was a boxer out of the state of New Jersey. He was in prison for 20 years for a triple homicide he did not commit. The police department, the prosecutor, like, it was so crooked, he went to the federal government for them to overturn his conviction. Do y'all not realize now if you're in state court and you go to, if you feel like your case has been violated, you could take it to the Supreme Court and they can overturn your conviction? Do you know that the Supreme Court just overturned that in the summertime? Well, now if you feel like the state court violated your rights and you can take, they just overturned that. So now you can't even do that anymore. And if you look at the Just Mercy case with Jamie Foxx, poor baby, hope he get him better. Jamie Foxx and fine ass Michael B. Jordan just did Just Mercy when he was charged. He was in prison for 20 years on death row for murder. Cases like that we can no longer present to the Supreme Court.
That's actually
it was.
right there.
It was. And we can no longer. I ain't messing with you. We can no longer take those cases to the Supreme Court. So if you have a state court and they violate your right, you can only take it to your state Supreme Court. The federal government can no longer step in, which the federal government was doing, and overturning these unjustly convictions. Like somebody said, white people plan 50 years ahead of time. We plan 2 or 3 years. That's what they were doing. When they wanted Trump to go to office, when what's his name? Nixon was in office. They had their plan together how they were going to do the Supreme Courts and how they had the judges and how they had stuff. So now with my case, if it goes up to the district court and I can't take it no further, they're playing the long game. What we have to do, and I get it because how we feel about politics, we always look at it and we say we can't vote for nobody because they don't give a fuck about us, and that's how they win. What we got to worry about and what we got to start doing is not caring about the Democrats, and we got to start putting our own candidates out there. And by we saying we're not going to vote, when black people say we're not going to vote, I hate it when they say that. At the end of the day, you're always supposed to vote, even if you go to the ballot and you put your name on it. My kids think I'm crazy because that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. Because I'm not going to not do it, but I'm not going to vote for none of you motherfuckers. Excuse my French. So we have to start understanding our power. We have to start putting our candidates out there. This world revolves around us, and they follow us. They follow everything. Hip hop, they try to take everything. They colonize hip hop. I don't know who this Jack stupid ass think he is, but the fact that people even say he's a rapper pisses me off. But they colonize everything. So we have to start putting out there what we want. Once we put out there the candidates that we want, then we vote for those candidates. Whether they win or not, that's not up to us. It's our responsibility to put that out there. When Marcel starts talking about reparations, now everybody and their mama, they damn near fighting in California. Everybody is talking about it. We have to put somebody out there to talk about our wants and our needs. Other people are going to be like, oh, this is what they're talking about. This is what they want. This is what we got to talk about. These motherfuckers are dumb. They do that all the time. That's the name of the game. That's how you do it. I don't know if y'all saw the episode of Living Single with Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. Oh, yeah, I'm going to law school. So when she was running for office and the other candidate was a teacher, he knew he wasn't going to win. But he put out topics that was important to him because he knew the other candidate would now have to talk about those topics. And even if he didn't win, he still got what the fuck he wanted. That's what we got to start doing. We got to start playing the long game. We already know how they are. We have to start doing what we do regardless. Again, the Underground Railroad was done and these dumb motherfuckers was sitting up here and not even knowing it. So, like, we need to really get it together. And talking about it is good, but being about it is even better. One thing I noticed about me, a lot of people not understanding why I did this, because I'm a little touched by Angel, but when they found my lawsuit against a branch of government, I knew they were going to seal the documents. Because I knew how white supremacy worked, I wrote my book. Now you cannot seal my documents on my case because I wrote the book about what happened. For me to do that was very, very strategic. Yes, like they're going to be pissed off. They're going to be highly upset, but I don't care. But at the end of the day, if people keep filing lawsuits, again, I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of people. And then cases are settled, and they may force us to settle. A lot of times when settlement happens, people say, oh, but those people settled. They sold us out. No, these motherfuckers is not playing fair. There are literally no more civil trials in the county that my case is. So if we wanted to go to trial, they not letting us go to trial. So they're going to make us settle. So we're going to have to take the money. Cool. I'm going to take this money, but you getting this book and you getting this documentary. Now you cannot cover up what you did to me. People don't understand the significance of that in my case. That shit has never been done before, not to my knowledge, on this level. So what people have to understand is we just got to start taking shit and twisting it for our favor, for our betterment. It's easy to be done. And we just got to be like Nike and just do it. Because they have a list of things that they do and how they do it. We know what they're going to do. White man been doing the same shit since the beginning of time. So we know they move. We know what's coming. We need to act accordingly. And I'll land my plane.
All right. Thank you, Aunt Lai. Let me go ahead and get to real quick. I know Tech was up here, but he must have dropped down. Miss Engage and I get to you. And these are going to be our last three speakers for tonight. I'm going to go Rock Roller, Miss T, and then I get to you, Mr. Engaging. Rock Roller, what's going on? Go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
There's been a lot of questions about why I'm so loud and I'm so angry. Jordan Neely answers that question. That's why I'm loud and that's why I'm angry. But there's one question that I always ask when this shit happens. I always ask myself, where are the families of these people? Because if something like that happened to my family member, especially my son, I'm already dead, bro. I'm already done. So, like I said, if you want to know why I'm so goddamn angry and so goddamn loud and so goddamn mad, Jordan Neely is the reason why. And I land right there.
All right. Thank you, Rock Roller. Let me go ahead and get to Miss T. Miss T, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, good evening, Newstoter, and to the co-host, DJ and Professor, and everybody in the room. Hope everybody is good tonight. Rottweiler, to answer your question, these people depend on what they deem to be our weak and our vulnerable. So this young man's father probably most likely wasn't in his life because I haven't seen him standing next to the mother in any photos. Just reading this, he went to the police twice to get help from them. He knew somebody was after him. He knew they were white. Some of the articles I've read were saying that they were co-workers, that his boss is in hiding. And these people know what's going on. It's less than 1,200 people in the fucking city. I looked at a couple of pictures of the police officers. One picture I saw was 9 officers. 5 of them black. 5 black. The other 4 were white or Latino, whatever you want to call them. But come on now, this man, and he told his mother that people were after him. So I agree with you, Rottweiler. If my child came to me and told me somebody was after him, and what no taxation said, I'm not letting him go to work by himself. I'm driving him, I'm picking him up, or somebody in the family. If we live in a town that we know is racially biased, because I think it's 61% or 67% white out of that 1,200 people, he should not have ever been alone. When he went to that police department and he didn't get any help the first time, somebody else should have went with him again. It's just, the police department failed him, but his family did too, because they didn't do. And then a lot of times, I'm not going to be too hard on the mom. A lot of times our kids don't tell us everything, especially the women, because they don't feel that we can take it. But he told his mom, though, one of the letters, one of the articles said. And then he even sent her a text, too.
So come on now, y'all. We gotta listen to our babies when they are. We gotta listen to what they saying. We gotta listen to what they ain't saying. We gotta read in between the lines. We gotta look at the body language. They said he acted different at work. He was normally jolly and cracking jokes and all that kind of stuff. And he got a little girl. She looked just like him. Just like him, got his ears and all. And now his mama got to look at a skull. Ain't no mother supposed to know what her child's skull looks like. That ain't nothing normal. And I see that they're having some protests now. It's like some kind of Israelite people have joined in a protest because Ben Crump's there now, so you know he's going to bring national attention. But let's learn from this, y'all. Let's help each other out. Let's not go nowhere.
All right. Thank you, Miss T. Mr. Engaging, you got to go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something a little controversial for today. It's for us to think about. We got a lot of bad people in our family, right? Who might be misguided. I really think we need to be talking to our criminal class and let them know that they need to be not turning their guns on us. They need to be turning on the real adversaries. And if they're not, then they're agents of chaos in our community. You don't get no one up in the neighborhood if you're beating up on your own people. You get one up when you beat up the neighborhood white supremacists. You get a one up when you when you beat up that Asian motherfucker who out here beating up on black women. That's the one up I'm talking about. If you ain't up on that type of time as men, then y'all ain't in the game right now. Because that's the type of time we need to be on, the energy that we need to really, really bring to these people. Because they really think that we soft. Like, it's okay to just come up to a black man while he's eating some ice cream or whatever and blow his top. Like, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know if my ancestors were comfortable with that. I hope they weren't, you know. But I don't think we need to go down that path. I think we need to be more proactive. The other thing is strictly to the women. Yo, when these brothers talking about getting a 2A, please do not discourage those brothers going 2A. They're going 2A to protect you. All right? So y'all need to be supporting that brother when he's going 2A. Because we need to be supporting our brothers and sisters who go in 2A. But most importantly, the brothers, because they get disenfranchised when it comes to that gun talk conversation. We need to be supporting our brothers and making sure they get something to protect themselves legally, because it's that type of time. These people are not giving us no fair ones at all. And don't expect no fair ones. That's what I'm going to say. Don't expect no fair ones, family. Stay on your toes and keep your head on a swivel.
Real talk, Mr. Engaging. And I'll say this right here, Mr. Engaging. Most of the sisters in the spaces, I haven't really heard them discourage the brothers in terms of getting that 2A. Most of them been pretty much supportive of it because they see what's going on with it now. So I'm
talking that from my personal experience. Like, I got family members right now in my family, immediate family right now, that is against me going 2A. They'll make up excuses for the neighborhood white supremacists and make sure that their brothers and sisters is not armed. So I'm speaking it. I'm just saying, sisters, you know that there's other people in your immediate circle that's talking that BS, talking that nonsense, saying that we should not go 2A. You need to shut that conversation down. Say, look, if that man was 2A, he would have been alive on that subway. If that young man would have went 2A in Mississippi, he would have been alive right now. He would have had a fighting chance. That's who I'm getting at. And we need to spread that word out.
All right. Rolla, I'll let you get the last word in before we go ahead and close it out. But go ahead. You got it.
I want to say this. The reason why that Jordan Neely situation hurted me so bad is because, Tariq Nasheed said something on his broadcast the other day. He said that if that shit was on a modern train, it would have never went down like that. But let me say this. In Georgia, bro, there's nowhere in the hell that you're going to stand around and choke out a brother with black folks standing around. That's the reason why that shit hurt me so goddamn bad. What in the hell is going on in New York, bro? Because like I said, in Georgia, that shit would have never went down.
All right, appreciate
Hey,
it.
real quick note that I'm gonna say it one more time. That's why Jason Black said nobody fools with New York.
All righty, y'all. All right. Well, we got one more speaker. I might let Stephanie get up in here real quick. Every time we close the space out, we always have people come up here. So, Stephanie, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get it in for a minute or so because we're about to close the space out. So go ahead.
Hey, salute to you, salute to the entire chat. I gotta say this, okay? Believe me when I tell you, because I am in New York City and I know that area very well, okay? When it says West 4th Street, that is the village. The majority of the people that are in the village are white, are Asian, Middle Eastern, a few, African, Caribbean, and maybe a few Black Americans around. It depends on the time of day, and it depends on the stop that the train is on. Because I can guarantee you, right? If it was a certain stop and there was some brothers on that train, he would have got stomped into a mud hole. I can guarantee you that. And believe me, I wish I was there on that train because me and him both probably would have been laid out at the same time because I would have did everything in my power to try to stop it. There's no way in the world a brother like that is going to sit up there and let somebody choke this man out. As you can tell, who was on that train. That guy that was holding him down wasn't even Black. He was Hispanic. Okay? And that's what a lot of people don't understand who that person was. Then you had an Indian guy. Then you had somebody that looked like he was from another country that was there. So I know that area very well. That is the West Village. Okay? That is a hub for NYU dormitories, NYU campuses, and everything else in between. Okay? And it's gay haven. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on what's over there. Okay? Believe me, if that was another train or another stop before that area, he would have been stomped into a mud hole. He probably would have been stomped into a coma. But that's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me go ahead and kick it to the co-host. I'm gonna let y'all get it in real quick before we close it out. Yeah, keep it muted. Go ahead. One of y'all can go ahead, Professor, and then DJ.
Hey, next space, you already know.
I second that. We know DJ space is the late night space, and we got to do some more talking, family. He's got to do some more talking. But this was a great space. I thank everybody for coming up in here, saying with their piece. Family, we just got to stay on top of it. We got to stay alert. We are got to be on one accord, one code, codified, baby, as Brother Buko has said many times. And let's keep in mind what Black Majority State has been saying, too, about us getting a predominantly majority Black state. We need to work on that, too. I mean, this is something that we need to do for protection. So, family, we got a lot of work to do, and we don't have a whole lot of time. So, just something that I want everybody to think about.
All right, guys. Thank you to the co-hosts, the speakers, the listeners. Thank you to those that contributed on Cash App. I'm not sure if we will be holding a space tomorrow. Like I say, I will let you guys know. If we're not holding one tomorrow, then I will go ahead and tweet it out and just let you know we'll be back Wednesday night. So thank you to everybody, like I said, once again, that came out. Definitely check out DJ's space. He's about to get ready to start it. What time you starting your space up, DJ?
Give me a minute on that, folks. Too. That's why I was supposed to interrupt real quick. 11 o'clock, I gotta go do something real quick. And our sister online had mad jokes when she was talking. I ain't see nobody in the room laughing about it. You know what I mean? Must be a tough crowd tonight. But let's get to the next space.
All right. So check DJ out at 11 o'clock, guys. Thank you. And we will see you guys either tomorrow night or Wednesday night. So peace. Everybody have a good one.
Peace out, family.